What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oscar De La Hoya. Get this. Oscar De La Hoya had this to say about Canelo Alvarez, and he said, quote, "I built you, I represented you your entire career, and it was all a fraud. I can't hide it anymore. This is boxing. Unfortunately, for decades, since the very beginning of a fighter's career, opponents with little experience or amateur level records are paid to step into the ring and lose. That's how records are padded, how legends are built. And once the fighter becomes famous with an impressive record, the next stage begins. Making deals with the opponent, buying their defeat. I'm sorry to say it, but this has been the reality of boxing for more than 50 years. Today, the only difference is that we make even more money. Canelo, a product we manufactured. He had charisma, style, and he was Mexican. We knew he would be the perfect shepherd once we saw that Mexico embraced him as the future of national boxing. What we saw against Crawford is proof of everything I'm saying. Canelo beats everyone except the best. And when facing true champions, he looks like a child. Mayweather ridiculed him like an amateur. Bivol humiliated him. And Crawford, he exposed him. It was like taking candy from a baby. Those are the words of Oscar De La Hoya. And let me counterpunch. First of all, the hate runs deep. The animosity is thick, right? And I think because the animosity is thick and the hate runs deep, we get this message from Oscar De La Hoya. I think Oscar De La Hoya felt that he deserved more respect from Canelo because Canelo did make him look like a poo-putt piece of shit when he was fighting his fighter Jaime Munguia, and the way they, interacted was very, unprofessional. It showed hate, it showed ridicule, it showed animosity, it showed a lot of things between both guys. Like the big brother, little brother, or the father figure, whatever he supposed to been for Canelo, none of that seemed to matter or shine through when they seen each other in real time, in present time, right? Saying all that, though, to say what Oscar said, was it true? Of course it was true. Of course what he said was true. He's just said something against the grain because he no longer wants to promote Canelo. He no longer wants to pretend like Canelo is better than he really is. I've told people for years that Oscar De La Hoya, like a lot of people know, I ain't the only channel that shot out and whistle blew this information. Oscar De La Hoya protected Canelo Alvarez from a lot of fighters, and if he couldn't protect him from fighting those fighters, he protected them in other ways. Okay? So that's that. Like he talked about Mayweather, like he talked about Bivol, like he talks about Crawford. If you notice about Oscar, he's slick because he refuses to talk about the fights that a lot of people thought he lost when he was promoting him. Funny how he left that shit out, didn't he? He left out the Lara, the 2 Triple G fights. A lot of people argue about the Austin Trout fight. All of those fights, he was with Oscar. Oscar was promoting him. If you noticed, he wasn't as good and he padded his resume and we protected him and all these guys made him look this and that, except when you had him. See, nothing wrong with what Oscar's saying. The only thing is, if you're going to tell it all. Don't tell a little bit of it when you're not promoting him. Put yourself on the chopping block as well. You know damn well you didn't want him to fight Lara because you knew Lara was a better boxer than him. He was older, more experienced, and he could box better. So he did that and he showed Canelo that. But you had it fixed, Oscar, that Levi Martinez scored it 9 rounds to 3 in favor of Canelo. And the other two scorecards were nothing like his. So you can't tell me that that shit wasn't bought or somebody was on the take. Somebody was on your payroll to make Canelo Alvarez look a certain way. Now that you're mad at him and he's pissed at you and don't respect you like you feel he should, now you want to talk about how he wasn't worth the shit. I find that very strange, people. Very, very, very strange. Right? Because Oscar De La Hoya now is whistleblowing, but he's not even whistleblowing when he knew he could have took full responsibility. How do we know that his resume was padded? Because he padded the resume, right? He just didn't say any names. He didn't say any names that gave him trouble. He left out the ones when he promoted them because he doesn't want to look like the guy that's in the wrong. Counterpunch. But you guys tell me what you think about this whistleblowing message from Oscar De La Hoya in regards to Canelo Alvarez not being worth a shit, a fraud his entire life or his entire career. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!